What's up, everybody? I'm joined by Steve once again to do the Star Wars CCG set overview. We're doing Death Star 2,
Mm,
arguably the pinnacle of this game, right? Is that a fair statement?
Yeah,
This is the
yeah.
peak. We reached the mountain,
I think we don't need to hide the ball on this one. It's probably the best expansion set for the Star Wars CCG. I think most
and I
people
won't say
agree with that.
everything goes downhill from here, but
Mm,
this is just the peak, I think.
yeah, it as we get into the set, I think we'll see that it feels like a bit of a grand finale in some ways for that classic trilogy era of the game, and it does everything sort of changes after this. So that's why a lot of players, when we're playing retro formats, we play Premiere through Death Star 2 because it kind of captures that great era. And so it's kind of a good. It's not the end of the game yet, but it is sort of a high note for it.
Yeah. So we're going to go over the good, the bad, the ugly. But
Yep.
before we do that, let's kind of set the scene a little bit. The
Sure.
year is July 2000. I guess we survived Y2K at this point, so
Sure.
no one's
We
worried
did.
about that.
Yes. Yeah.
The remastered movies had all been out, I guess, right?
Yeah, they came
You
out
know,
in '97, I believe. Yeah.
man, okay.
So and then the Phantom Menace came out in '99. So it's interesting because I think Star Wars fandom is really in the prequel era now. Everything's episode one everywhere.
Hmm.
Novels, everything. Well, there's obviously other kinds of novels too, but there's the expanded universe going forward. But I think a lot of the stuff is focused on episode one, but the game is still in the classic trilogy.
This is also, I think, when a lot of games like July, like 2000, I think a
hmm
lot of CCGs are starting to go broke, right? Like a
hmm
lot of games that came out
Yeah.
in like 95, they have like 95 to 97 runs or 96 to 98. Like a
Yes.
lot of stuff is starting to kind of like not work. Like I think if you
Yeah,
looked at the
that's
number
true.
of games that stopped in like 99, it's probably several dozen.
Right. Yeah, I think that's right. So yeah, this is the first set where they changed the booster pack format a little bit. We were in the 9 card booster pack era for a while. This set is sold in booster packs of 11 cards for $3.29. So it was $2.50 for a 9 card booster pack, and now it's $3.29 for 11 cards. And what do you get for that increase in price? Well, so you get a pack with 1 rare, 3 uncommons, and 7 commons for $3.29, as opposed to 1 rare, 3 uncommons, and 5 commons for the 9 card pack. So it looks like you're getting 2 more commons for like 80 cents more. So I don't know about that
Yeah,
one,
I
but
don't know that some guy in a boardroom's like, what if we gave him two more of the worst cards for 80 more cents?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
dubious. Though in the inflation calculator, which we like to do from time to time, $3.29 in July of 2000 is $6.21 today, which is fine. I mean, a regular Magic Play Booster is $5.49 right now. The Final Fantasy ones are more expensive and such, but that seems fine. But yeah, I imagine the time players are a little bit confused why the 2 extra commons are charging them almost $1 more.
Yeah. And this, I mean, I didn't realize there were only 3 uncommons. That just like
Yeah,
because there are some tricky uncommons in this
yeah.
set where I'm like, I just cannot get enough
hmm
copies of. I'm trying to think of a good example. Only Endor ones. Insurrection's a great
Well,
example from
we can talk
Endor.
about it when we get, but like, there's some like when I was going through and completing my sets recently, there was a uncommon TIE Defender, I think Onyx something, that I didn't have. I thought it was a rare maybe, but nope, it's an uncommon that I just didn't have. Because yeah, those uncommons there aren't that many.
So this was 182 cards. The 2 cards there is almost like
Mm,
yeah. So they added 2 ultra rares, which were
yes,
twice as rare. So if you think of a print sheet, had 2 of every rare, it had 1 of every ultra rare. Is how that
right,
worked.
right.
And
Interesting.
the,
Yeah, so they're like I guess a third rare or like 2/3 rare, I guess you'd say, right?
yeah. And we will get into both of these cards. These cards are also
Yes,
obviously the
absolutely.
best cards in the game up to that point, and
Yeah,
possibly still. So it's a
probably.
little
Yeah.
brief. And I think there's also these two exclusive rares, one for each side that came in the starter
Mhm.
decks, which we'll get into as well. Those are really cool
Yes,
products, but
the star decks
Akbar
are
and P.
cool.
And
But let's talk a little more July 2000. We like to do a little history lesson here.
yeah.
Top movie. Any thoughts? Any guesses?
Okay, July 2.
We're
Is it
watching.
animated? Is it like a Toy
No,
Story?
it is the beginning of a franchise that still goes this day.
Oh,
Comic book
interesting.
movie.
Okay, it was like too early for any of the Marvel stuff, right?
It
Was it
is.
like
It
a
is.
Batman?
It is Marvel actually.
Okay, Iron Man was way later.
And that's later. It's X-Men.
Oh, like the first one?
Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart. Yeah, they were the first X-Men, which is it's kind of
Oh.
amazing that Hugh Jackman's been playing Wolverine for 25 years.
Also, I know intellectually that Marvel is X-Men is Marvel,
Right.
but it always felt like it's Marvel with an asterisk kind of deal
Right,
because of
because those characters couldn't be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe for a really long time because of licensing deals and stuff. They did like
yeah.
Marvel Comics, Marvel Studios didn't own the rights to their own characters, most of the characters for a long time.
I still don't think they own Spider-Man, right? Which is like we still see the last thing. I
Yeah,
think
it's like a
Sony owns
Sony.
Spider-Man.
It's a Sony. Yeah, it's a thing. Top song was "It's Gonna Be Me" by NSYNC. So
Oh
really
God,
feeling
man,
that era right there. And then the top book. Okay, see if you can figure this one out. July 2000 came out
this
on
has got to be a
July.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's Harry Potter. It's Goblet of Fire, which
Goblet of Fire.
that
Okay.
really brings me back to that summer because that was like a huge book release when it came out.
That
I don't
was
know if you
also a
remember that.
huge book. I remember being like
Yeah,
12. I'm like, this, no one will ever finish this book. It's too big. It's too
yeah,
big. It's like what 600 pages. This is
yeah. It was like 800. I was lugging it around with me to this like college, like pre-college summer program between my freshman and sophomore years of high school, and like yeah. Anyway, so that yeah, a good year for fandoms that summer. In CCG history, that I think it's interesting. You're talking about different CCGs like ending and stuff. Endor, which talked about a week or two ago, came out in June of 1999.
this is a
This
year.
set comes out in
That's
July of 2000. That is
okay.
like crazy to me. It's over a year later. There had not been another booster pack set of this game in a year.
I think there had been some supplementary
Yes,
products.
Enhanced Cloud City, Enhanced Jabba's Palace, and third edition, third anthology, which those are good products, but not a booster pack set, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, I mean those are also kind of lazy products. It's like 24
Yeah,
cards and then get
yeah.
some booster packs from the most common sets and
Yeah,
throw
yeah,
them in
they
a
were.
box.
I wonder if that contributed to sort of flagging interest in this game because I think we've talked about how like up to, especially a little bit Endor, you'll see a lot of that stuff in old collections, but I never see Death Star 2 cards in the random shoebox collection somebody posts on Facebook Marketplace or Reddit.
Mm. Yeah, I do think
Very
that if you
rarely.
got into Death Star 2, like you got into it. Like you didn't just buy like two packs, you
Right.
bought two boxes, right? Like
Yeah.
people were either in or out by this set, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Other CCGs, Young Jedi is kind of just did Battle of Naboo in April of 2000, so that's kind of like those core three sets for Young Jedi, and then that game sort of begins to flag after that. Star Trek CCG is about to release Trouble with Tribbles in August, which is a big set for that game. I don't think we've talked about it on your channel yet, but it's a similar set to this, and that it also has starter decks and it introduces original series characters to the game for the first time. That's a big set. Magic is finishing the Mercadian Masks block, which is remembered as kind of a weak block with Prophecy that came out in May, and Pokemon just did Team Rocket. So still sort of the height of Pokemon craze a year after it came out in the US.
It's so fun just to think like they're just like in the hits. Like everything
Yeah.
they're releasing is just like kind of iconic, like Jungle
Mm-hmm.
or Fossil or whatever. And
Yep. Yep.
it's really hitting the peak nostalgia. I guess we're 25 years later talking about this stuff.
Yes. Yes. It's really, yeah, I can feel it.
Just wrapping up, so we'll get into some of the rares here, but there was a really cool poster that had on the
The
back
poster is sweet.
card checklist. Just like we waited a year for this set, but it's a damn cool
Yeah.
set. I think for
And that
design,
booster pack, look at that booster pack. That crimson blood red, the fire. And
yeah, I still think it's like my favorite like branded,
oh yeah.
product.
Yeah.
Um, so getting into the actual cards
Hmm.
themselves,
Hmm.
there's a lot to like about this set. I would say 80% of the rares are playable adjacent. They
Sure.
get
I would
playable or
agree.
playable
Totally. Yeah.
adjacent. There's,
Yeah.
some misses, but there's so many good rares
Oh
ranging from
yeah.
like mains and cool ships. Finally, rebels get cool ships.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not all of them are great, but they get cool ships.
I could have put 20 more cards at the top row that are good. But I guess we should just talk about the ultra rares first, because I did for a minute debate about whether they're good or bad for the game as a whole,
Mm,
because they're just so hard to get and they're pretty overpowered.
yeah, they made a card. I mean, this is like we see this now, right? You make really good cards hard to get, which I know
Mhm.
that seems like novel, but I think there was a while there where it's like, no, they're all rares, and rares are all equal. Like the Captain Han and Cloud City was just as common as a crappy red card. And you
Mhm.
saw also like R1s and R2s, but like
Mhm.
making these very, very good and also in this like new ultra rare slot, I think it was one per boost. No, I don't remember, but it's like one on each of
Mhm.
the rare sheets versus two. You just like changed the meta a little bit where it's like if you're not running Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, then you should be, and you should buy this card because it is
Yeah.
extremely good. It's a Destiny 6,
Right.
which for a character at the time was bonkers, right? Characters were ones or twos.
Yeah. I wonder if they didn't have if Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight and Emperor Palpatine didn't have the Death number 6, the Death number 1, if we would be, I think then there would be no doubt that they're good. They're not, it's okay. But like the 6 is just, it's like rubbing it in just a little bit.
Right, because there's no reason not to run 5 of these in your deck,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because the Destiny number is
Yes.
6.
I
Um,
think Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight is better than Emperor Palpatine, right? I mean, that is the better of the two.
he's more versatile,
He's more
right?
versatile. The Emperor
Yes.
is narrower, a little bit harder to use correctly, I think. But I guess why I don't fault the game too much for doing this is they did it only once. This is they're the only ultra rares, and they saved it up for like pinnacle characters. Like it's the final version of Luke. He's graduated to be a Jedi Knight, and then the Emperor is, he's the mysterious puppet master of the whole galaxy. He finally shows up as an ultra rare, so it kind of makes sense for me. I kind of excuse it. Um, and they are really good, but there's enough deck diversity by this time that you don't actually have to own these to play a good deck. There are decks that don't need them.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think decks that don't need them but would benefit from them.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I do think Luke's the better of the two. I think the Emperor just because the dark side has so many tools, right, to begin
Right.
with. Like you
Right.
don't have to like Vader, plus they get a good Vader. I do
Right.
think dark side makes it out better in this set.
Hmm.
Like if you think like
Like
who
usual.
came out better,
Yeah.
because this is a really cool Vader. He does a lot of cool
Yeah.
stuff.
He's very good.
He's probably my second favorite behind DVD lots, I think.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then the Imperial Command we see here, which is much better than Rebel Leadership because Rebel Leadership
Yes.
kind of
Yeah.
is like
It's
it's in that
fine, but it's
playable.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not bonkers like this is. This is really good. Um,
Um,
And then I put like a few things I like up here. Wedge Antilles, Red Squadron leader. He's a really cool pilot, does some fun stuff. Home One is the Light's answer to the Executor. And it's very good. We'll get to the star decks in a second, but there, and I could have gone on, like made that list even longer. Like TIE Interceptors show up here, A Wings, the Bring Him Before Me objective. There's Good in Him, which I also think is a pretty solid objective. There's like Baron Suntir Fell, Saber One, just goes on and on. Like Chimera, Thrawn's flagship is a Star Destroyer in the set. There's a ton of
that
stuff in the set.
yeah, that was a fun little thing. Like releasing Thrawn's ship before Thrawn.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like oh,
yeah,
it's a cool card. It's like a warping out like on the card
yeah.
image.
And it mentions Thrawn in the game text, which is really cool.
Yeah. But a lot of good. I mean, there's even a lot of good like commons and uncommons in this, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
heading for the medical frigate is
Oh, we should
basically
talk about those. Yeah, the new starting interrupts, which become basically the default starting interrupt for the game forever.
forever, right? Like even to this day, I think
Mhm.
open, maybe there's a different one they use in open, but like basically everyone still uses this. Like you can start 3 interrupts that are immune to alter.
Through effects from Minolta. Yeah,
I'm sorry, yeah, three
yeah,
effects.
yeah.
There's a dark side equivalent.
Prepared
Heading to the cert
defenses.
prepared defenses, that's right.
Yep, those are
Um,
cool. You also get the effects, squadron assignments, and combat response that lets you reveal a pilot to get their matching starship from your deck, a starfighter from your deck, or vice versa. Which is just that's so cool. Like it makes it so that it's easier to run unique starships with their matching pilots than just generics. And
right.
then that's a great idea.
So there was just like a lot of cool cards in this set,
Mhm.
like full stop. I think maybe this is a decent point to transition to like the not cool cards in this set.
Yeah, we can come back to the starter decks at the end. There aren't that many things that are I usually put the bad up here, things that just don't work or make the game a little bit worse or something. There isn't too much. I think mobilization points and to a lesser extent staging areas, the light side version, but particularly mobilization points is a net negative for the game. This is the card that lets you um, pull one of like several different systems from your deck at the start of the game and increases your force activation at docking bays. And it just we already moved the game towards docking bay, being docking bay centric with uh, Imperial Arrest Order, and now this then lets you get a big activation boost for at docking bays. It makes the game feel very linear. Also, pulling the system at the beginning is like, or executor, which becomes a problem later on in the game. But the system usually people here use it for the system. It makes for some very sort of generic rote starts to the game.
Yeah,
And so, yeah.
as someone who plays an Imperial ISB deck that basically
Mhm.
has like this is the ideal first turn, right? Like I don't love
Mhm.
that for it's almost like you're playing like a module or something where it's like, okay,
Mhm.
you should do this, and then you should do this, and you should pull this, and you key it down at the executor
Yeah.
docking bay, and then
Yeah.
you use him to pull Commander Merrick, and then Merrick pulls a system, and it's like
Mhm.
he,
Yep.
he pulls Fondor or whatever, and then Fondor you deploy executor on, and it's like
Mhm.
it just feels like you're a computer in a simulator, not
Yeah.
like you're playing a game that's
Yeah.
dynamic and reacting to your opponent.
And these linear starts, they actually make it quite difficult to teach new players. I think it's like imagine
Mm,
bringing a Premier Death Star to Bring Him Before Me or ISB Operations, whatever deck you want, and explain to a new player like this the sequence you're just describing there. That's really a lot of background knowledge you need to have to be able to play a deck like that. And yeah, I think that it's just taking it a little too far. You want to have a way to give structure to your first few turns and to remove some of the randomness, but it gets a little bit too pre-programmed, I think, with these cards. Also, talking about the three effects you can pull with prepared defenses. Well, pretty much for Dark Side, two of them is always Imperial Arrest Order mobilization points. Because why would you not?
um, honestly, the three starting effects with the starting interrupts, they could be in the ugly. Hear me out on this
Sure.
because I think it just became a default rule, and I think sometimes think like when both players are doing something, it's like canceling each other out. So it's like,
Hmm.
why even bother having this card?
Right.
Why not just introduce a rule that says if you want, you can start 3 effects? Like, why have it be a card that both players
Hmm.
are going to run? So then your
Yeah.
life total is now 59 rather than 60.
Yeah. Yeah.
Essentially. I don't know. I just like created also if we go to cognitive load, which is something I think the Admiral's orders, which we have
Yeah.
the one there. It just
Mhm.
is another thing in a game that is already like pretty slow where it's like, okay, let me show you my starting package because you have a starting package now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like here's my objective, here's the 4 cards that go with my objective, and then here's my starting interrupt, and then here's the 3 cards that go with that, and then later we even have starting effect, and here's the super secret shields that go under my starting
Yeah.
effect. And it's just like, dang man, like that's a lot of stuff to like get going on a game.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is. But yeah, it is. This game's always had sort of unfortunate clunky elements to it. But yeah, I think this is a net negative on the mobilization points. Turning to the admiral's orders, I just picked on this one randomly. I think they're all kind of similar. Maybe one or two are better than the others, but um, they wanted to make a new card type that I think reflected the sort of frantic or like sort of almost like multi-domain space battle you saw in the end of Return of the Jedi. So most of the Admiral's orders, they're symmetrical. They're affecting both players, and they often have elements of both space and ground combat reflected in them. But they are really complicated, and just even the rules for playing them are complicated. Like, okay, so I'm looking this up in the glossary now. Because I always forget elements of this, but the deployment table for free, but only during your deploy phase and only if you occupy a battleground system. That's the part that always trips me up. You have to occupy a battleground system. So I always I'll pull out like, I don't know, something like Wakil Mui or something like that. And it's not a battleground, so you can't play them. Okay. There can be only one Admiral's order on the table at any time. When a new one is deployed, the previous one, no matter which player belongs to, is placed in the use pile. And most of the functions apply to both players, but some apply to only one player. Like, okay. That's pretty complicated for a card that I feel like Admiral's orders never quite make the cut in a deck. Like, you always want to squeeze them into that last 60th slot, but you're almost always better off just cutting that card.
I'll say it's another wall of text card, right?
Yeah.
In a game that has a lot of wall of text cards, like
Mhm.
this is another wall of text that we don't need. I feel like the audience, like Matt, just wants simple games. You know, I just want a game that is not equivalent to reading a novel of War and Peace, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
or a chapter of War and Peace by the time I finish, like reading what each of your cards do and
Right.
the difference between like a battleground system versus battleground site versus just battleground and like
Right.
the intricacy and careful. Like, it's just, I don't want that
What gets it
always.
for me with this is that, okay, so you're making a new card type. Was the new card type made because it looks really cool? It's got the full picture, the cool little Death Star 2 shield symbol in the top left, or was there really a reason to make this new card type?
Hmm.
And I think it's just to be cool, because I think you could have just done this with an effect also. You could have maybe slimmed it down a little bit, just make an effect. So yeah, that's I kind of like them in a way, but they never quite work in the decks. Yeah, so they're bad for me,
There's
unfortunately.
a lot of stuff in life you want to like so badly. Like, there's a new restaurant that opened up near my house that I just want to like and I want to support because they're
Yeah.
nearby, but the food's bad. And I can't get over like just the fact that the food is bad at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Mhm.
That's kind of about Admiral's Orders. Like, I
Yeah.
want to like the full art, cool spaceship battle, but like they're just not
Yeah.
usually worth the spot in the deck.
Not quite. That's number 6 though, so you can always consider running one, but the fact that yours and your opponents cancel out is always also kind of a problem sometimes. But let's talk about the starter decks. These are really cool.
This product, I think, could have saved the game if it had been something that
Mhm.
had come out. I don't know, with like special edition starters are
Yeah.
kind of like their own weird thing. But
Yeah.
like, if every set had had a starter deck, I think it could have arguably saved the
Right.
game. Like, this is such a complex game that like the number of times I see people ask the question like, "How would I get into this game?" I'm like, I don't know. I have an entire YouTube channel talking about it. I don't know how you get into this game.
Yeah.
This product, the Death Star 2
It's
starter
the
decks are
closest
probably
way.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
you can have
We
an
did a
out of the
long time
box
ago on this
experience.
channel. In the beginning, we did a very long playthrough with these decks, I think.
Yeah.
Um, they're the only introductory product for this game that works. The Premier 2-player game and Hoth 2-player game. Maybe we'll talk about those in one of these videos when we do a roundup of like specialty sets. Those were terrible. These are actually good because Decipher decided, what if you make a starter deck and you put good cards in it? You just be a little more generous. You put some actual main characters in, and then and some actual utility cards that are generally useful. Things like the starting interrupts and like Grimtosh and just like cards you actually need. And they
Yeah,
made it.
like,
Yeah.
and it was like kind of scoped around a theme or like an
Yep.
idea or something. Like
And they balance each other. They actually are shockingly balanced and playable against each other, with not one really better than the other.
I just don't know why they didn't do this for the episode one sets. I think the episode one sets they had visions of having an episode one only format, right? So it would have been
Yeah,
weird
they
to have
tried that.
Grim Town. And I think that obviously the license getting lost was its whole own deal, but like that's why you see the
Yeah.
lights of the
I
episode
think
one
they could have maybe
symbol.
done an episode one starter deck had they had more time in 2001, because we'll get to in one of our next videos. They basically cranked out every single remaining product in 1 year. Um, but yeah, these
Um,
decks are great. There is a Endor Death Star 2 only format, and these decks are like 95% Endor Death Star 2 cards. So yeah, they're probably not worth you buying sealed right now if you're considering picking them up, because I think they are. What are they, like $50 to $80 each or something like that? Like
yeah,
two
you
for
can probably get
100.
one for a deal like 40, 50 bucks, but
You
you
could
can
piece them
make
together for
these.
much cheaper.
Yeah, the cards in there are worth $12 or something,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They do have each side has one exclusive rare. That's Admiral Akbar for light side and Admiral Piet for dark side, which are both pretty good cards. And it's like amazing they made a good rare that's unique to these starters.
The funny thing about that is I agree. I like both of them, but both of those cards are not well suited to be in the starter
Nope.
decks.
No, they're not. They don't. They
Yeah.
don't really. Yeah, they don't do anything in the starter deck really. I usually just end up losing Akbar to a 4 strain or something, or just forfeit him. I'll put him on a ship and then forfeit him immediately because he has a high forfeit value.
Yeah, it's just, but there's no home one, there's no
Nope,
executor in these.
nope.
It's just
And
they're kind of random.
they're put in there to sell the deck to people who might be on the fence about buying it.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah. But
And
yeah,
I've always
I taught my son to play Star Wars CCG with these decks, which is fun.
I've always been amazed at how many of these decks must have been opened
Hmm.
because there's a lot of Akbar and Piets just around, right? Like I don't know, like
Hmm.
I probably have 4 or 5 or something in my collection that I don't really know how I got 4 or 5, but I think I must have
Yeah,
opened a lot of those starter
well,
decks over the years.
they were 1095 when they came out, and so you could price Piet and Akbar at $11 essentially, which is not unreasonable for a rare at that time. And then you're also getting Tempest One and Commander Igar in the Dark Side One, which are great rares.
I think Ms.
And
Igar was in there. Igar's great, yeah.
he is in there, yeah, yeah. And then, oh, wait, am I wrong about that? Maybe he's not. I think Tempest One is, but not Igar. I think not Igar. Yeah, Tempest. I'm sorry, Tempest One, not Igar. On the light side, you got Chewbacca of Kashyyyk and Captain Han
Solo.
Solo. Yeah,
Yeah.
which are So for $11, Akbar, Han, and Chewbacca. That sells itself.
Oh God, to be 12 years old again and getting scammed. That scam, but
Oh,
at the local game.
I bought these too. Like, yeah, $22. Have all that. That's great. Um, we didn't put any ugly on here because I don't really think there's anything in the set that like really hurts the game or breaks anything.
Yeah, I mean the ultra rares, one could definitely make a very good argument of how like they changed the game and
Hmm.
they were a money grab and blah blah blah. Yeah, I think that's a fine argument. You're
Yeah.
not wrong. Um,
A couple of interesting things before we wrap up. Some interesting canon additions from this game, like Janus Gridatus and Simalu, the Emperor's kind of sketchy looking advisors. Those guys were first named in this set. I did not realize until I was looking through some like research for this. So their names come from here, and then they appear in like later canon
is
materials.
just like weirdo friends.
Yeah, and then like Tycho Selchu, Baron Suntir Fell, those guys all appeared in novels and comics before, but this is the first time they find like background characters who they should be. So like the image of Tycho Selchu is like a random A-wing pilot in the background, but that's the first time they put a photo to those names.
Mm. Okay, I mean, this was just really the peak.
Yeah,
2000 was a really great year for the game. I mean, this is what I think is the tragedy of this game is with Death Star 2, like design team
yeah.
mindset, like this game had finally
Mhm.
figured itself out, and I think it was at a really good place. And then episode
Yeah,
one happened, and I think there were some distractions with like pod racing and Senate, and
right.
but like this was really good design, and I wish you could have
Yeah.
had 15 of these sets.
Yeah, true.
But so it goes. We keep moving forward.
Mhm.
Steve, anything to wrap up our discussion here? This has been a long one, but it was time well spent on our
Yeah,
favorite
it's
stuff.
fun. No, I mean, like if you like this and are on the fence about playing, jump on, play some games online on the GEMP platform, play Premier Death Star 2 format, and you'll get to play with a lot of these cards.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for hanging out, everybody. It's fun. Like, subscribe. We hit 2,000 subscribers. I'm going to plan
Woohoo!
something probably over the holiday season to celebrate. Just don't have a lot of free time right now,
Mm.
unfortunately. But thanks for hanging out, and we'll catch you guys later.